So hi, One of the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with.
Joey.
Hey, I'm Yang.
I'm Nick, and we're 3/4 of Better Strangers.
And we're asking some questions to say about their new single, Nicotine Dreams. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Yeah, thanks. It's been good. It's been kind of weird because that's a song that we wrote so long ago, and we've been playing it on the road for probably about a year, maybe a year and a half. So to finally actually put it out has been kind of strange, considering like it's kind of an old song to us. But no, it's been good. Like everybody, really digs the track. It's like a different side of our band's sound. Much more subtle, a bit more psychedelic, and the lyrics are a bit more I don't know, it taps into a bit more Ricky's storytelling than some of the stuff that we had released before. So yeah, no, it's been cool. And it was kind of we released it based on the fact that at our live shows that seemed to be a song that a lot of people related to and connected with. So it was fun to be able to finally put it out there and come up with the music video and the content for it.
Hell yeah. There's definitely like a stark contrast in the two singles you guys have out right now, but it works. It all kind of feels like you guys, which is, the goal, I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the important thing is keeping it like at least sounding like it's the same band, but it is totally kind of two polar opposite sides of the sound, which I guess being that at the moment on streaming, it's like the two singles that are out. I guess it's cool to kind of show those different kind of sides and of the band and kind of like I guess the range, which is cool.
Yeah, I think it sets up well for like what we're gonna do next. Basically, it kind of shows two ends of the spectrum that way.
Hell yeah. And you mentioned you guys have been sitting on a song for a minute. How long have you guys been sitting on it for?
Probably like 2 years.
Yeah, from when it was written, it was written and it was still during COVID, like when we were still like not allowed to play. I think it was probably written like December of 2020.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
We've had it like mixed and ready and mastered for a couple
while
of months.
too.
yeah. We just were coming up with the the video and just like the best kind of release plan. But
We're a very slow band.
yeah,
It takes us forever to do anything.
That's okay.
Yeah, slow and steady.
it would be it would be great if that wasn't the case. But you can't fight what you are. We just like that's how we operate.
You can't rush
But-
perfection.
Yeah, exactly right. But no, it's fun. Like it also for us, like we wanted to get those older songs out of the way, and I think that this is kind of still one of those songs that holds up from that period of time when we were writing. Because I think our writing from when it was COVID, because like for a bit of background, like us three have been playing in bands together for like 7-8 years, but Ricky hasn't been in the band. Like he joined the band in 2020 when Better Strangers became an actual thing. So the first kind of section of like part of the band's lifespan was like totally during lockdown, and the songs we were writing at that point were totally different, way more like I don't know, way more studio oriented, like they're and as soon as we started playing live again, our songwriting changed, and that totally became part of the process, was being able to try it out live, see how people related to him, and kind of gauge what song to put out next. So it was important for us to get the songs that still held up from that period of time to get them out now, so that like the more songs we keep putting out and the stuff we're working on now and mixing now kind of shows a bit more of a progression every time we put out songs.
It's pretty different.
For sure. Sick. So is there any meaning behind the single title or cover art?
Yes, and I guess
wish Ricky was here to tell you about all this.
he's
Come on,
the
Ricky.
lyricist.
The lyrics.
He would know the kind of full I mean we all know it, but since he wrote it, he kind of like the concept of the song is like really something that he came up with. We wrote the music, like most of our songs, like we write the music because we're here in Miami. Ricky's actually usually based in Texas.
Wow.
So he only comes like when obviously when we're touring, or if we've got something to record, or something to work on, or a shoot or something, that's when he'll come. But it's basically based on a friend of his who
She was like a 911 dispatcher.
yeah, like at a university, and somebody like a group of friends went into their friend's dorm, and they found one of their friends had committed suicide.
Oh.
Yeah, in his dorm, and they kind of found him hanging. So they called her, or they called, you know, the emergency services, and she just happened to be the one who answered. And she was like, you know, getting like, you know, not like a super great pay, like it was just kind of a random college job, and now she's like totally having to deal with like some real life serious issues and trying to walk these kids through like how to do CPR, how to do this, and how cut them down, like just like, you know, just basically walking them through the whole process. And I guess this song is basically, you know, it's pretty much based on the impact it had on her, because that was somebody Ricky knew. And just basically her coping with her life after the fact, and just like basically having to deal with the fact that she, you know, feels like she now knows this guy, because she, after, you know, after the fact, she looked him up, I think, on social media, and just like wanted to see, because like, you know, she didn't know if his family knew this had even happened, because this was just a her thing. And now all of a sudden she feels like she knows the guy. She, you know, she was there in such a like massive, you know, event, and now she's just having to deal with it after the fact. So Nicotine Dreams is basically about her coping with that through like substance abuse, and it was mainly, you know, cigarettes. And Nicotine Dreams, I guess, is because it's like cigarettes are kind of the substitute for the sleep at that point in her life. And that's what the video is totally about.
Yeah, I feel like also what's really good about the video that we made is that it only tells like one part of that story. Like you can obviously see that it's a girl who's going through something and dealing with coping mechanisms, but you don't know what the actual traumatic event is, which is what I think makes it probably more relatable to a larger amount of people, which is kind of the goal.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Andres, our friend Andres Birnbaum, who directed and like edited the video, he did a great job like bringing all that stuff to life. And the you know, the actress who stars in it, Ali, she Alexandra Breer, she was like, you know, spot on with like, you know, playing the character that we wanted. And yeah, it was like, you know, way darker than what we had done like before, but I just thought like, well, as a band, we just thought it was just made sense to you know, like, because it's a catchy song, but also it talks about real life, you know, issues. And I think especially during COVID, like everybody was kind of dealing with their own, you know, share of like, whether it was like anxiety or depression. So, you know, having that song kind of touch upon, I guess, like a part of that nobody really talks about, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of songs about suicide, but this is just somebody who's totally not connected to it, that now is completely affected by this whole thing and dealing with it in her life. And given the fact that Ricky knew the person, and, you know, Ricky's a great, you know, great lyricist, it just, you know, totally, to me, like this song is a total vocal song more so than any other instrument. It's basically about the story and the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you guys tell us a little bit about your writing process for this song?
Well, being specific, I remember coming in with the verse part, the guitar part, to the studio one day, and I just remember we jammed on it for like a really long time. And it was like there was no structure or anything, and I know Yang had the chorus part, right?
Yeah.
And it happened pretty fast. I feel like with a lot of the songs that we end up liking and keeping, and that we continue to play live and plan on putting out, are songs that kind of happen very naturally, and they don't feel like you have to force parts onto each other. They just sort of like happen, and that was definitely the case with this one.
Yeah, it's usually, like I said, with like the other stuff, like most of our songs, it's like the music comes first, and we'll just work on stuff. And since we're meeting often, whether we're like mixing or writing, depending on what's going on, like there's like a, you know, we meet so frequently, ideas get to kind of sit there, and we get to kind of keep developing on them. And this just kind of like, it was super basic, like, because, you know, we just kind of laid down like a verse and a chorus and just see where it goes. And then once, you know, with most of our songs, once we kind of come up with the music, we'll send it over to Ricky for him to listen to it, for him to kind of, you know, maybe make suggestions about the structure or, you know, any kind of notes. But then he'll just kind of write the lyrics, and then the next time we see each other and meet, like, you know, we'll do a run through where he'll kind of sing it, and we'll make sure it kind of works in the moment. And then he'll just like, we'll all kind of like, you know, do like a kind of campfire thing where we'll sit around him, and he just kind of gives us the line by line kind of rundown of all the lyrics.
Actually, I remember when he wrote the lyrics to that song, we were all together, and he was sitting in another room, and we were outside like playing darts and like drinking beers and like having a really great time. And he came up to us, he's like, "Hey, I finished writing the song," and he told us what it was about, and it was a total
Total mood
vibe.
killer.
Yeah.
We're like, wow.
Like that's
Yeah.
great, dude,
Vibe
but we were
going
having a
on.
good time.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally, you're totally right. We were playing darts, listening to like Party Rock Anthem by
Yeah.
Alfeo or something like that.
Great
Like,
song choice. Great song
Actually,
choice.
that's exactly what we were listening to.
Yeah, and we look inside. He's got like it's just like dark in the live room. He's got like his headphones on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Great. So I want you three to tell us your favorite lyric off this track and the meaning behind it, or favorite part off this track.
God,
I
man,
feel like
do I do?
I don't know what my favorite lyric would be. I know that my favorite part of the song is what I consider like the second chorus,
Mhm.
when it gets really psychedelic and Ricky kind of layers different vocal parts over each other.
Mhm.
I think that was really cool what he did.
I think the first verse, I think he says something like so he says like, oh, will they remember him, or like feeling like I'm losing a friend, oh, will they remember him, kind of thing. I think that like when the song kind of starts, it just starts like any song. You could think it's a love song, and I think that's the first indication of like, the listener kind of knows what the lyrics are about to an extent. Like that's the kind of the first line where it's like, oh, okay, we're not just singing about some kind of love song, basic surface level thing. Like it's about something a bit more deeper than that.
Mhm.
There's a few good lines. There's some like Ricky's really good at like wordplay and just kind of putting things in that kind of mean certain, like he
Like
says
the 6-bar one.
yeah,
that's
that
what I was gonna say.
that was the one that I was talking. He what's the lyric? I'm
It-
going on my 6-bar, dimming the lights,
Yeah.
and that's talking about like pills and like Xanax
Mhm.
specifically. So like the 6-bar, and I think like
But it also is like apparently when they found the kid, he was tied to like the 6th bar or the 6th rung of like
Oh wow.
either of the closet or the bed or something.
Mhm.
Oh,
So it's like he does that. Yeah, he does that a lot when he like a word will have like some sort of like double entendre or something, and it's like you
Mhm.
can interpret it
Yeah.
in different ways.
So it's
You
good-
know what he's talking
it's
about.
good he's not here to like hear all the kind of compliments we're giving him right
Yeah.
now.
Right. Yeah.
Hope he
You don't
doesn't
want his head
watch
to get too
this.
big. Yeah.
So can you guys tell us where your headspace is at while you guys are writing this track?
Oh, man, I mean, it was a while ago, and I think we were still getting like, this is really still at the time was one of the first songs where it was written all four of us, because we had an EP back in like 2020 2021 before we kind of reset a little bit, and some of those songs were kind of written when it was still just us three making music, because we were looking for a singer. Because we spent about a year before Ricky, or like a year and a half before Ricky joined, trying to find a singer. So we were just like, like coming up with songs, trying to find a bit more of a defined sound for us. And, some of that EP was kind of left over from that. Whereas there was the kind of first songs once he had joined where it was really, all of it was written while all four of us were here. So I think the headspace was, we were like still trying to get like, dial in what we wanted to sound like.
Yeah.
And it was definitely different, because I think previous to that, like a lot of the stuff was much heavier music, and this was kind of a bit more of a step back as far as like the genre was considered, went. And I think for us it was also one of the first songs where there really isn't kind of a basic structure to, I mean, really it just kind of flows between two parts that have different layers and context on each part. But it was kind of the first time we didn't just go, all right, like verse chorus, bridge, chorus, see you later, 3.5 minutes. Like it's like a 5-minute and 40-second single, which is kind of pretty long for us. But we were just like, it was kind of the first time we had kind of really gotten into that, and it's definitely still kind of played a role in the songs that we're writing now.
Yeah, I would say, and for me it was just about keeping it very simple. I think the song didn't feel like, because we write everything from really simple stuff to really complicated stuff, especially now our music continues to get more and more complicated. But then it was just like, hey, this sounds like the kind of song that Ricky could really like, if you give him a lot of space to do something really interesting, he's gonna deliver. So that was at least for me, that was mindset. My mindset was just to keep it very simple.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the
it's only
instrumental,
2 real parts.
the instrumental track is super stripped. Like it is pretty kind of just guitar, bass, drums, and it's hard sometimes to write a song at the time that's like, all right, like this is where vocals are gonna sit, because like you want it to be interesting and cool when you're just playing it and writing it. But that's just like sometimes like it was something we used to fall into, where you're just overcomplicating everything. You add like 50 guitar layers and like all this stuff, and it's just like there's no space for the vocal. Whereas this was the first time that we were kind of had to be like, well, let's see what Ricky does. We'll just give him the most kind of like straightforward kind of bass for him to write lyrics and melodies on top of it.
And I think since then we've learned to kind of like write music knowingly that he's gonna have like kind of giving him space, but also keeping it, I guess, complicated and fun for us to just keep driving the back.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you guys brought up the track length, because Gloria and I were talking about it ahead of time, and she was the one that pointed out to me that the song was almost 6 minutes long. I thought it flowed so well, I didn't even fucking notice. And I'm always the first person to be like, why did this person put out a 5.5 minute song as a single?
That's great.
But I was just like, I wasn't even fazed by it. Like,
thank you.
It just caught me off guard personally. I was like, oh, that's a long track. Okay.
You saw the length, you're like, I am not listening to this.
No, but I did twice. Come on.
That's really great to hear, because like, I mean, we wouldn't write a 6 minute song, or now we sometimes will write a 9 minute song, but like we wouldn't do that unless we thought like it stayed interesting throughout the whole thing, if that makes sense. So to hear someone else say that like just it was 6 minutes and I was still into it the entire time is really nice and really reassuring, because like we wouldn't want to put out anything that like gets fucking boring, because that's just the worst, you know what I'm saying? Especially now, I feel like attention spans can be really, really short.
absolutely.
So like, when we draw shit out that's too long in rehearsal or in the writing process, we're like, we could probably cut that.
That's fair.
But I think even when we had kind of sent him the thing, like it was very like, hey, well, we may cut this part, we're just sending it to you to see. And then he just happened to write lyrics on all of what we had sent him. So that's just kind of, I mean, I could remember it wrong, but that just seems to me like that's how it kind of went down. And yeah, like I guess the thing that kind of like helps the length is that there isn't like one distinct hook. There's kind of different hooks on the vocal parts scattered throughout the track. And, since every time we revisit a part, there's always something new that's added to it. I think that keeps it, I mean, it still kind of stays chill until the end, where it kind of, gets a bit more, louder and a bit heavier. But for the most part, I think it's like, creates a good atmosphere for the story to kind of develop and progress.
A lot of that has to
100%.
The mix too. Our friend Jimmy T mixed it. James Meslin is his
he Grammy Award winner.
The
shout out Jimmy T, and not with us, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
Love to see it though. Love to see it.
Yeah, he's great.
So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your heads, I want you guys to describe this track for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less. 3 words each.
3 words each. You can go first.
Oh man, all the pressure. 3 words. I think it's trippy. Exciting. And I don't know. Help me out here, man.
Dynamic, psychedelic, and sad.
Nice.
I was going to say very, very sad.
Those
There
are the
you
3
go.
words.
Very, very sad.
All right.
Perfect.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want your listeners to have while going through the track?
No, I mean, just take it like for like, I would kind of just go into it and just have whatever the song kind of, however it speaks to you, just kind of let it kind of happen. I mean, because I think that was also the thing for the music videos. We didn't like, as much as the story is important to it, at the same time, like we like that those lyrics or anything can be interpreted in different ways depending on what different people are going through. So if somebody's going through, some issues or depression or whatever, like they can still relate to it on a different way than the story. So I just think like just seeing where it takes you and what lines you kind of seem to relate to. I think that's just kind of the most important thing. And just kind of going with the the slow burn of the whole song, of like how it kind of develops. Because I think, like, you know, it's one of those songs where we couldn't really make a single edit. You know, like you wouldn't there it would be hard to make a 3-minute version because every part kind of, you know, makes sense for the next one. You know, like you can't just kind of skip over the middle of it. So yeah, just kind of, you know, stay along for the ride, and you know, please stay along for the whole 6-minute track.
Promise it's worth it.
Please don't skip it.
Don't
40
skip it.
seconds.
So what band or artist influence do you think you could hear the most off this track, if any?
It's funny, honestly, this, like, as far as influence goes, like, this is it's so different to like anything else we've written that we wrote at the time and that we have written since.
If there's one band, I mean, I guess Radiohead, like, you have to just,
and
you know,
and we don't usually like have a lot of Radiohead kind of style stuff in most of our songs. Like, usually there are you know, kind of real inspirations and bands that we look up to are like Deftones and Tool and Queens of the Stone Age, Chili Peppers, even bands from like today, like Turnstile and Royal Blood. Like, those are usually the bands that we really kind of look up to at the moment. But Radiohead, like, this was just one of those, like, I think I've always admired how Radiohead just create atmospheres and just create you know, like more just environments for songs, not so much like conventional songwriting. It's just like a space for something to kind of happen. So yeah, that's definitely probably the strongest thing on it. I do think near the end, like, at least for the drumming, like, it definitely gets a bit more in the kind of you know, Foo Fighters kind of territory as far as like the fills and, like, you know, that kind of vibe. And then lyrically, I mean, I wouldn't know what he, like, I can't pinpoint exactly where.
Ricky always says, like, when he writes songs, he's not really ever thinking of a particular artist or something. He just does it. So, like, I'm sure he doesn't have a specific person in mind when he did it. And I didn't really have anything in mind when I wrote my part either. It just kind of, it's something that happens.
Yeah, I totally ripped off Radiohead for mine. So yeah, I think that's probably
fair enough.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, we were gonna just make like a behind the track playlist for Spotify, like a few tracks that inspired it. But really, it would just be like,
Weird
you know,
Fishes.
a handful of Radiohead songs, and that would be kind of it.
So is this track leading up to anything bigger? Any bigger body of work?
I mean, we're not sure at the moment. We're currently working on the next kind of few releases that we're hoping to come out with more stuff, like, way more frequently, and actually be proactive about how often we release stuff.
Keep the momentum.
You know, we're looking at hopefully anywhere between like every 6 to 8 weeks we're putting out something new. At the moment, like, we're putting out singles and just kind of seeing what happens. We're also, like, we're kind of taking a different approach and mixing some of our stuff ourselves to just kind of see where we go and like, you know, dial in a bit more of the sound of what we're looking for. And with that, you know, that may turn into an EP, may turn into there's definitely enough material for it to, you know, be an EP or album. It just kind of depends on the reaction from fans and just, like, you know, what the vibe is, what's kind of working, what's not. I think it's kind of cool to, at the moment, at our stage, is just kind of build the discography a little bit and keep putting out some songs. We're actually looking at putting some songs, like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 songs that we had previously released. We're looking at putting them back out there just because they still find their way into our live show. So, you know, it'd be cool to kind of have it back up on streaming and everything. So who knows? I mean, hopefully, you know, sooner than later it turns into an EP or album. But we, you know, at the moment it's singles, and we're definitely making a point to, you know, put out singles way more frequently, and kind of have each song kind of live in its own little kind of cycle, have its own kind of art and vibe, and then who knows, hopefully that turns into an EP.
Fair enough.
Love it. It's a good plan. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop, you're going in. What is your snack of choice?
Are we, how much sleep are we on? Because we've been on this on 2 hours of sleep, and then that's a different question to, like, you know, well rested.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
so
what do you want and what do you need? Like, those are two different kind of mindsets.
Honestly, the answer is Red Bull. That's the snack when we're on tour and we're very tired. It's just Red Bull. It's like, stay awake, don't fall asleep on the road.
What flavor Red Bull?
And it doesn't matter.
We started
Doesn't
testing
matter?
a bunch of different ones.
Yeah,
we tested.
Watermelon is good.
I like the yellow
Okay.
one.
Yeah, the yellow one was good. The blue one was kind of tasted really bad.
I mean,
Oh.
you totally feel like a piece of shit when you've had one. Like
Yeah.
like you finish it and it's like 7 in the morning and you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to make it work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what else? Sour gummies.
Yeah.
Like
Ooh, there you
Sour
go.
Punch.
Yeah.
Super big in Texas. They sell like individual like colored packs. So we would just like get the red and blue Sour Punch ones and just
The
Yeah.
worst is when you like you didn't get to have dinner the night before and then you wake up the next morning and you're just eating fucking garbage, fucking candy and Red Bull and like
I think
terrible.
best case scenario is you stop at a Buc-ee's and you get some
sandwiches.
some brisket sandwiches,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
and those are actually really good.
Yeah.
that sounds
Mhm.
good.
All right.
Yeah. So I think yeah, as far as like if you're on no sleep, for us it's usually like a Red Bull and like hopefully maybe like a protein bar if we, depending on on the gas
I
station.
like trail mix.
Yeah.
But also
Oh, trail mix.
yeah, I'm not a trail mix guy.
Aw.
They bond over it.
I could go either way. If it's got chocolate, I'm into it.
Gotta be sweet.
Exactly.
Just
There you
say
go.
like just stay away from the 7-Eleven coffee. I had that and it was just like that was just not it was it was like 5 in the morning on the way to like Austin or Laredo or I don't know, somewhere
they
in
have
Texas.
like coffee in cans, right? That's like not any
Yeah,
better,
yeah, the
but at
Starbucks
least
like
it's not
little
fucked
jar
up.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, this gas station must have just not had that. Like it's just like
Oh.
this specific 7-Eleven, it was just not many options. But yeah, I would not recommend the 7-Eleven coffee.
Yeah, no, I it never crossed my mind to try it.
The Wawa coffee is good though.
We didn't stop at a Wawa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wawa's got good sandwiches. I've had
Mhm.
I've had some good sandwiches there, but never their coffee.
Mhm.
the coffee's good. I can vouch for the coffee.
But I remember we were like rationing out the Red Bull flavors at one point.
Yeah,
It was like,
like-
who wants a watermelon? I was like, we've got 2, like who wants to try it?
There's still 2 in the fridge over there actually that were left over, and nobody. When you're not on tour, nobody wants to drink that shit.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We
So
actually get to sleep.
on the topic
Right.
of food, on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
A Chipotle chicken wrap.
From Power Smoothie and Aventura.
It's a very specific.
There's
We
a
just
place
had it
called
for lunch.
Power Smoothie here in
Mhm.
Miami, and it's like wraps and smoothies, and it's the best meal I've ever had. And I think we have it. I mean, we have it once a week, like for sure. But every once in a while we'll throw it in there for another lunch.
Yeah.
Plus, yeah, but like, would we actually be the Chipotle wrap? Like, do you think the Chipotle wrap represents us
For
as a
sure,
band?
for sure.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right.
Everyone has their own smoothie, and that's their
Yeah.
that's their.
So I think
smoothie.
it's like the meal plan at Power Smoothie.
Yeah.
You get a
Okay.
smoothie and you get a wrap. The wrap is always the same, but the smoothie is when you get to express yourself and throw in your own kind of personal ideas. But like you gotta stay true to the chicken Chipotle, and I think that's for us. It's like you gotta stay true to what the band is supposed to sound like, but every now and then you can choose your own smoothie.
Great way to
Mhm.
make that fucking joke make sense.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
Right. So for these last couple questions, we're actually gonna shift away from music if that's okay with you guys.
Mhm.
Awesome. So we're actually gonna go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Chicken
Oh,
Chipotle wrap.
Oh my god. There's no shame in that.
No,
No, yeah, I like.
Absolutely no
I
shit.
wish I could give you a better answer. That's just the only right answer.
no, I'd probably have like some entraña or some like really good
Yeah.
steak or something.
I would go to Mexico City where there's this Argentinian place.
Not in Argentina.
Yeah, no, it's an Argentinian
No.
place in Mexico City, and they have the greatest steak of all time. So I'd probably get like a really nice steak, and then to drink, a smoothie from Power Smoothie. Like that's
Yeah,
all.
that's fair.
Yeah.
What's your smoothie order?
Peach Sensation is what mine is called.
Ooh.
They've got the Mango Magic, the
Mhm.
Mango Tango.
They got
Yeah.
a red Hawaiian,
Very good.
Ooh.
strawberry colada, Power Smoothie. I mean, the list just goes on and
Yeah,
on.
we're
Yeah.
regulars here, so we just try whatever, and we're gonna send them this video so they can kind of maybe give us some like free food after all
I was
this
gonna
sponsor.
say,
bullshit.
get a
One-
sponsorship.
When we
Yeah.
were looking for a singer, they let us put flyers up in their restaurant.
Oh.
They know, yeah, like it's a thing.
They've been around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Still waiting for one last meal.
Oh, I would probably do the Chipotle.
Oh, that wasn't a joke? Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's too good, and if it's my last meal, I mean, I'm going strong.
You have to
Mhm.
try it, and then you'll understand.
I'll get it. Okay.
We had it today. It was great.
Yeah,
We'll make our way down to Miami.
It's also
Right.
always good. Like it's always
It's
Like,
reliable.
like
Yes.
it'll shift, but it's minimal.
great wrapping
Exactly.
technique as well.
Yeah, it doesn't fall.
Mhm.
It's not like a Chipotle burrito, which will just fall apart on you. You know,
Mhm.
for looking
Gets
at
a little
it.
soggy.
Yeah, no, it's great.
This is great.
Tight.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Because the last thing you want. Oh.
You want to talk about soggy? Bro, I tried Moe's a couple days ago. It was so wet. It was like flopping like this when I held it in my hands.
Why would you do that to yourself, man?
Yeah,
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yang and I in like 8th grade had this whole running. We were on a school field trip and we had this whole running joke where like we walked into Moe's and they're like, "Welcome to Moe's," and that was like their whole thing. And by the end of the field trip, we had the entire grade saying it. It was like it was like that was like the kind of running joke of that. So shout out Moe's. But to be honest, they kind of suck. Like
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
shout out.
I mean, it might have sucked even more because I had it for the first time on a college campus, so there were college kids working there too. So like nobody gives a fuck.
Mhm.
Disgusting. So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
A fictional world.
Mhm.
Shit.
My childhood favorite TV show was Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Yep.
and I would probably live in that world.
Okay. What element do you want?
Water.
Water based. That's good.
Hmm.
I
For the
didn't
blood
say
bender
that.
shit.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I was gonna say like Game of Thrones, but I really don't want to live at that, like in
sounds
that
pretty
either.
good.
That sounds like not a good time. But like
No.
that's kind of the only actual fictional world, like because I think like everything else that I watch or do is kind of supposed to be based on like real life.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Yeah, fuck it. Game of Thrones, whatever.
Game of Thrones. All right.
Yeah.
Hope you survive, man.
I try to just be like the most common guy, just no
Exactly.
kind of
yeah.
relation to anything that's major that's going on.
Yeah, you're just kind of watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
What about you? You got anything?
Dude, I don't know.
Star Wars or something?
Nah. I want to be Walter White in Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good. That's good. Perfect. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Purple.
Really? You guys have the same favorite color?
I really
Look
like
at you
I think your
guys.
favorite color was purple too.
I like purple too, but like as a kid, as like a child, my favorite color was red.
Oh, as a kid, I would probably go blue.
Like now, like it's changed and it's like, oh, it's black. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like no, like
Purple and black are a great combination.
it's like it's
actually.
gray. No, like
Dope.
yeah, purple is a great color, and we do like to use it in like art and stuff. But I'd say like as a kid and just like being that I'm a diehard Manchester United fan, it'd be red, 100%.
Okay.
All right. So as Gloria said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
No, I mean watch the Nicotine Dreams music video and the other song that we have out called Put Out Your Name. If Nicotine Dreams is a bit too slow for you and a bit too melancholy and sad, then Put Out Your Name is it's a pick me up. It's like rock, sexy, it's fun. So yeah.
It also has a good video directed by the same guy, Andres Birnbaum, who directed Nicotine Dreams. So
Mhm.
so you can watch that too on YouTube.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But thanks so much for having us on, guys.
Yeah,
We
appreciate
appreciate
it.
that.
Of
Of course. Well, thank you. Now this guy's been Better Strangers, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.